The magic of the microphone. The magic of the microphone. The magic of the microphone. Sontronics Solo handheld dynamic microphone. I saw a review of this microphone in one of the magazines in the UK a couple of years ago, and I noticed they were made in England. Had a good review. I got in touch with Sontronics, who are in Bournemouth, Dorset, which is about 116 miles south and west of where I live. And over a year or so, emails exchanged a bit. And I asked for one to review, to use, actually, with the students at the BRIT School. And they said, well, the BRIT School has 6 of them. Oh. So all this time, they were kind of right under my nose. So I went and borrowed one. Bear in mind then that I think most of the stuff that came with it is here, but maybe not. Comes in a box. Sleeve comes off. Cardboard box underneath. And what's inside this one is sort of candy. A warranty card, I think. Bear in mind, other stuff might not be there because I don't know how all the schools had them and people have used them and so on and so forth. It comes in a case, and it did have a clip attached to it, which is I've left at the school. And here is the microphone, which we'll have a look at close up later. What the manufacturer says. It says it's the first dynamic mic designed, developed and made in the UK, in Dorset. Extremely tight supercardioid polar pattern for excellent results on live vocals. Engineered from a solid piece of aluminium with black anodized finish and beautifully etched logo. It goes on to say that it's a full-bodied clear sound. It's from 50 Hz to 15 kHz. Comes with a lifetime warranty, which is the standard 2-year warranty upgraded to lifetime if you register within 30 days for the first owner only. And it covers faults in manufacturing or components. You can have a look on the website. They've got a quite detailed website, very useful stuff on there. And it sells for £99. There are student and teacher and staff discounts at various establishments, in which case you can get it for £69. I'll put the frequency response chart on screen, and you can see that from round about 300 to 1 kilohertz it's flat. It then starts to rise, levels off a bit around about 3 or 4 kilohertz is that. Another peak around 5 or 6, and then tails off down to flat at around 10 and tails off after that. Once again, the proximity trace isn't shown, so we'll have to use our ears to detect that. Let's have a look close up. I guess at this price point, an obvious contender is going to be the Shure SM58. It's a USA one. So you can see difference in size. Sontronics, noticeably larger. Feels a little lighter, but I'm wondering if that's because it's bigger, and I'd expect it to be heavier, but it feels a little lighter. there is some texture there, as you can hear. Sound of the mic. Dead in the body. Well, deadish, quite high pitched. A little bit of a ring on the grill, but musical enough to my ears. As you can see, the grill is foam lined. I'm not a massive fan of foam, but what can you do? Well, you can do some things, but probably very expensive. About the same thickness all the way around. Very robust, I'm sure that's fine. Kind of gauze across there. I don't feel... Yes, there is a little bit of movement there, but maybe it's internal, I don't know. For the price, threads are fine. Fit, finish, feel and accessories. Well, we've kind of looked at that close up. I do the feel now with a cable because that's how you're going to use it, I assume. Okay balance, not worried about that at all. It's quite girthy. Because the body's quite girthy, the definition between the top of the body and the head is somewhat reduced, so you'd want to be you'd want to get used to it, whereas obviously there's quite a lot of mics of this kind of shape. I don't want to make this, well, it's not a comparison between the SM58 and the Solo, because I want to do that later between three say entry-level microphones under £100 new. So that's something I've got planned for the future. So it's really just about this. So watch out for that maybe. It does come with its own clip. And as you can imagine, it's one of the larger varieties. Now, this is a standard Shure. I like them. Don't fit all mics, as you're going to see. So forget it, I think. I wouldn't want to try that. Well, if you keep it down the end, I do like the new Shure clips. They've made them much more pliable than the old ones, which would just crack if you did that. So yeah, actually, but it's only just. This is a Sennheiser clip. And again, the danger is going to be that they don't really... Biodynamic, one of my favourites. Yeah, they don't really go round it enough. It is supplied with a clip. I don't know. All these clips, as you can see, I've got many more, are all in a box because I've got clips. I've got the biodynamic clips on my mic stands, and that's it. Do you take your clips around and unscrew them if you're on gigs and you're doing like you unscrew the top for a particular microphone? So I wonder about the wisdom of that. I don't know. Whatever. But it does come with a clip. It also comes with a microphone bag. Yeah. No issues fitting it in. Feels reasonably padded. Great. No worries. This one, bear in mind, I haven't used on gigs. I've used it in the classroom. I've used it myself through the system I have there, and I've used it on a number of students, but I haven't taken it out and used it on a gig. Most of the other microphones I've used, I have done that, so I've got quite detailed personal experience of them, but not so much this one. Way to go. No rattling about. Nice. So, what do I notice immediately, and how am I invited to sing, if at all? I'm on the SV33, and I'm going to move straight over. I've balanced everything up as best I can, including the SM58, which might make an appearance here and there. And let me see. So I'm about that far from the SV33, and I'm going to ask myself, what do I notice immediately? What do I notice immediately? Actually, the first thing I noticed was much less of the room, because the 33 is a much wider polar pattern, and that kind of distracted me. And I thought it's a bit quieter, but the meters say not. But nonetheless, I'm going to tweak them, because I think before, as I've said, there's stuff to do with clarity that alters the perception of loudness, it seems to me. Back on the 33 then. Back on the 33 then. And what do I notice immediately? Back on the 33 then. And what do I notice immediately? On the Sontronics. And what do I notice immediately? On the S, I notice that. S, and I notice less detail down there. Less detail down there. Less detail down there. Less detail down there. So I'm on the Sontronics. What do I notice immediately? So I notice that, yes, but it seems to me to be, so it's a little bit muted somehow. There's that accentuation there, which is, to me, is sweet enough. To me is sweet enough. To me is sweet enough. Feels a little bit muted, which you'd expect. It's a dynamic mic, and I've been comparing it to a very expensive condenser. So keeping in mind the target audience, I guess. I mean, nice enough to me. If I bring it a bit closer, bring it in a bit closer, bring it in a bit closer, I imagine a lot of people are going to be using it quite close up there. So for me, not enough low end at all, even close in. But I guess for the target audience, a lot of those singers are going to be holding it very close. So if I do that, it's got a pleasing enough sound, a little bit old school in the and of course that accentuation, which I find is sweet enough. I could do without it myself, but sweet enough, and I don't think a tendency towards sibilance. You might notice that. We'll get to there in a minute. Okay, pops, S's, breath, proximity, and polar response. So with pops, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. 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 Not bad at all. That's like boof, boof, boof. Not the real thud, but the boof, which I think is foam. I've come to recognise this. So if the breath hitting the foam, what can you do? Peter Piper picked a peck of... You can be careful. That's what you can do. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled... A little bit of... round about that frequency. What's that, 80 or a bit 100 or something around there? Maybe even a bit higher. Peter Piper picked a peck. So fine. S's... S's. I find them fine for my voice. I'm not particularly sibilant, and I find that okay. The breath, who do you think you're fooling? Who? That, I believe, is the foam. Who? It's a whole woof hitting the foam, I think, making the sound. Who do you think you're fooling? So you can be careful with that as well. Of course, I'm being clumsy. Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? Who? Need to be a bit careful there. Who? Of course, you could do that. Who do you think you're fooling? 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 Who do you think... That's all you have to do. I don't hear any change in the sound. Who do you think you're fooling? So you can't eliminate that entirely. Well, maybe you can. Don't know if anybody has yet. So I think fine, particularly for the price that it's being asked. What's after the breath? Proximity, yes. Well, we've kind of done that. But what I want to include in the proximity is distant proximity too, because a lot of the mics I'm using now claim to keep the bass further away. So, let me see. proximity from a distance, proximity from a distance, proximity from a distance. You can hear the room, of course. Proximity from a distance, distance, proximity from here, proximity from here, proximity a bit closer. Now you can hear the proximity and also the intimacy. Proximity from here, proximity from here, proximity from here, proximity from here. And now the bass comes in, and the bass has got too much blubber for my voice. But okay. Polar response. I think, actually, you probably know. I know what it is, but we'll see if you can hear it. You've got a choice of cardioid and supercardioid. As you know, cardioid is tighter for the rear rejection, but leaks a little bit more at the side. Supercardioid is tighter rejection at the side, but leaks a little bit more just at the front. There's reasons for that, to do placing of speakers and stages and things. So here I am at the front, here I am at the front, coming round, here I am at the front. Slight change there, I feel already. I'm at the front, I'm at the front, I'm at the front there. I hear a slight change. Coming round to the side, coming round to the side, some deadening going on there, coming round to the side, coming down to the side, pretty strong rejection round to the side, and even more rejection there, with the hint of a little bit of oof going to come in as I come round to the back. And as you can hear when I come round to the back, there's some leakage there, but the low frequency, less the feedback inducing frequency, though that may cause feedback as well. So on there. So this one you'd need to be a little bit careful with your placement. Oh, what, of course. I'd forgotten. Yeah, of course there's leakage there because, yeah, you're right. It's supercardioid. So there you go. And there it is. But it is a low frequency. It's quite strong. But I come around to the side is very tight, as you can hear, round about there, as I come round onto the front. Handling self and induced noise. Handling noise. As you can hear, that slight texture which gives you the grip also creates some noise. I think anything that's going to give you grip is by very nature going to give you noise. So it is, let's try this, the 58. So the 58, a lot lower, and if people cut the desk, they'd probably cut most of that on the 58 out. So this one's higher up, as you can hear. You'd have a job cutting that, I think, without influencing many voices. So I'll tell you what, don't fiddle with it. Well, easier said than done, I guess. How am I invited to sing? Oh, I should have done that before. Never mind. Oh, I'll hold it next to the transformer. I don't expect anything, but may as well. That buzz you can hear is the light, which is going to be gone, I hope, before too long. So I don't hear anything from the microphone. How am I invited to sing? Let me give myself some reverb and see if have I got any reverb on? No, I haven't. Learn your equipment, eh? I give myself some reverb and see what I feel. Give myself some reverb and see what I feel. I give myself some reverb and see what I feel. That's okay. I don't mind that if it's going to cut through. Don't mind that if it's going to cut through. Or what about the breathy side and the breathy things? The breathy is quite well revealed and quite well revealed, and it's quite well revealed. It's okay, sweet enough up there, sweet enough there. It doesn't really favour any particular thing. It doesn't really favour any particular thing. It doesn't really favour any particular thing. It doesn't really favour. I'm okay with it. I'm okay. The whole thing is a little bit, it's a dynamic microphone. So it smacks to me of a dynamic microphone. But that said, seems to me to be very well managed. Okay. I'll see if it inspires anything else in just a minute. Maybe you're poor, maybe you have wealth, maybe in demand or baby on the shelf. Whatever your situation, there's one thing you should do. Reject all automation and let me work on you. I'm Mr. Manual. Automatic's not my style. No, no, no. I like to manually manipulate you guys. It's guaranteed to make it. Call me Mr. Manual, automatic, not my style. I like to manually manipulate you, guaranteed to make you smile. I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you smile, yes, yes, yes. I like to manually manipulate you, guaranteed to make you smile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. El inglés es competente.